With a population of over 5 million people, Sydney is the largest city in Australia. Among other attractions, Sydney is known for its Opera House, Tower Eye, Botanical Gardens, and Harbour Bridge. And I just happened to be near the top of Sydney's iconic bridge, on one of the pylons holding it up. Sydney Harbour sits along the islands, coves, and waterways of Port Jackson below me. Port Jackson attaches to the Tasman Sea, which is part of the South Pacific Ocean out there. What a truly epic location to tell the story of how the gospel reached this part of the world. In order to truly appreciate the nautical history of this part of the planet, let's get off the Sydney Harbour Bridge and jump on to one of the harbor's many boats, ferries, and water taxis. Time to check out some of the beautiful bays and coves of Port Jackson. On August 26, 1768, the HMS Endeavour set sail from England under the command of Captain James Cook, an accomplished navigator, astronomer, and cartographer, a guy who made maps. Cook and his crew of 94 men were instructed to set sail to Tahiti, where they would observe and record the transit of the planet Venus across the sun. After that, Cook had orders to search for Terra Australis Incognita, the unknown southern land. Oh, come on! The Endeavour successfully reached Tahiti and recorded the transit of Venus on June 3, 1769. Then, Captain Cook sailed on to explore the so-called Southern Ocean. He first discovered and mapped New Zealand before traveling further west. On April 19, 1770, Cook spotted the east coast of Australia. He named this land New South Wales and claimed it for the British Crown. James Cook went on to survey about 500 miles of coastline throughout Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Islands. While Cook didn't discover these lands, the accuracy and extent of his charts and maps were revolutionary for that time in history. In the 20 years before Captain James Cook first landed in Australia, the population of London had doubled. Jobs disappeared, unemployment soared, and poverty skyrocketed. Large parts of London were truly nasty, filled with trash, disease, and death. It was a scene only hinted at in Charles Dickens' novels. And crime, from petty thefts to heinous murders, became the new normal in the streets. All of this came about just as Captain Cook brought Australia to the attention of the British monarchy. Some viewed Cook's discoveries as divine timing. You see, since 1597, British law required the transfer of criminals to remote lands. In a statute called An Act for Punishment of Rogues, Vagabonds, and Sturdy Beggars, the government declared that offenders, quote, shall be banished out of this realm, and shall be conveyed to such parts beyond the seas as shall be assigned by the Privy Council. To return to England after being sent abroad meant death by hanging. Over 2,000 years ago, the man known as Jesus of Nazareth was born in the small town of Bethlehem in the land of Judea. His extraordinary life, brutal execution, and miraculous resurrection from the dead attest to the truth of his claim to be the only Son of God. This is the story of how Jesus, through the lives of his faithful followers, has become known around the world, impacting all of human history from the first century until today. This is Drive Through History, Ends of the Earth.